We start tonight with new developments in the shooting death of political activist Charlie Kirk. The FBI announcing just hours ago the person of interest they had in custody has been released. Police now conducting an all-out manhunt for the shooter.
A new video shows the chaotic aftermath of that shooting on the Utah Valley University campus. And this video shows the moment the gunshot rang out while Kirk was speaking to students. We've paused it before he was hit, but witnesses say the bullet hit him in the neck. Late tonight, police say they believe the shooter fired from the roof of a building in what they're calling a targeted attack.
President Trump announcing tonight that Kirk's death earlier today, also posting on video on social media.
An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come.
Kirk grew up in the northwest suburbs, and tonight those who knew him are remembering him.
But this violent incident also sparking another conversation about the political violence our country has seen in recent years. ABC 7's Eric Hong in studio with us tonight after speaking with someone who knew Kirk in the early days of his political activism. Eric?
Robin, Cheryl, before Charlie Kirk became a star in conservative politics, he was an outspoken teenager who grew up in Arlington Heights and Prospect Heights. He volunteered for local campaigns and found support among suburban Republicans who saw his potential to be a national figure. At a young age, Charlie Kirk impressed others with his tireless work ethic and ability to connect.
Big plans, big vision, but willing to back it up by putting in the time.
Marco Sukovich of Lincolnshire worked with Kirk when his now powerhouse political organization, Turning Point USA, was in its infancy, operating out of a garage below this one-room office in Lamont. Around 2013, along with fellow young people who'd volunteered for the campaign of suburban Congressman Bob Dole, Kirk sought to engage young people.
A generation that kind of had really no one on the conservative side or on the center right communicating to them in any kind of effective way.
Kirk graduated from Wheeling High School, District 214, saying, "Charlie will always remain part of our community. We are deeply saddened by his passing." Cook County Republican Party Chair Aaron Del Mar says he first met Kirk when the young conservative was in high school.
I just thought, hey, this is a kind of a cool kid, a kind of go-getter. It's really shocking because I know Charlie not from Facebook Reels or Instagram Reels, but I know Charlie the person. I know his family. I've had to spend a lot of time with him, and he's always just been a really good guy.
Though Kirk's views often angered many on the left, his death drawing universal outrage. Former President Barack Obama writing, "This kind of despicable violence has no place in our democracy."
Political violence, unfortunately, has been ratcheting up in this country. It's got to stop. And I think there are people who are fomenting it.
Northwestern University professor Eric Nisbet has authored papers on political discourse and divides and fears political violence has been normalized.
I think it's polarization and dehumanization, right? Our political rhetoric is not only about our political differences nowadays, but it's about dehumanizing the other where they're less than human.
Kirk leaves behind a wife and 2 young children. He was living in Arizona, but friends say he remained connected to the Chicago area. Cheryl.
Eric, thank you for that report. The president tonight blaming the shooting on rhetoric from what he calls the radical left. As Eric did mention tonight, we have seen a series of acts of violence recently targeting people across the political spectrum. Last summer and fall, there were 2 assassination attempts on President Trump while he was running for re-election. Last fall, then Vice President Harris's campaign office in Arizona was shot at 3 times over the span of a month. And then in April of this year, the Pennsylvania governor's mansion was torched. Then in May, 2 Israeli embassy workers were shot and killed in D.C. Less than 2 weeks later, a dozen people were injured in a flame-throwing attack at a pro-Israel demonstration in Colorado. Then in June, a Democratic Minnesota state representative and her husband were murdered. A Democratic state senator was shot and injured. And just last month, hundreds of rounds were fired at the CDC headquarters in Atlanta as a police officer died in that incident. All 8 of these incidents happening in the past 14 months. 5 were in the last 5 months.